All Blacks and Wallabies, folks. Bledisloe 2, penultimate game in the Rugby Championship, and New Zealand put themselves in a pretty good position to win the entire comp. We'll go through some key events and stats, and you guys can let us know your thoughts on how this game went and how you think this lines up things for the final game between South Africa and Argentina in a few hours' time. 40 points to 14, like I said, pretty emphatic. First half was kind of messy, and the All Blacks certainly blew the result out by the end of the game. But it was a little bit of a struggle at the start. There was no scoring in the first 20 minutes. There was, however, a yellow card. After Holloway makes after he makes a line break, he gets yellow carded for a wee tip, lifting beyond the horizontal tackle on Dalton Papali'i. So the hard work done by the big lock to get the line break is immediately undone with a card. But can the All Blacks score during the yellow card? No, they cannot. And that's one area I think when they look back at the review, as pleasing as a 40 points to 14 win will be, the failure to capitalise on the man advantage, certainly one that's a little bit troubling. Australia are pretty happy to win turnovers or get penalties on their own goal line and get some decent exits. So yellow card finishes with no damage done for Australia. That being said, when Australia finally had a chance down the All Blacks end, essentially the same thing happens. Without the yellow card, though, it's just like All Blacks winning penalty on defence. I mean, it's messy. There's turnovers conceded. There's knock-ons. There's line-outs going awry. It's a bit ugly. 3-0 is the early score. After like 20 minutes, the All Blacks finally managed to opt for a 3. So they do manage to get themselves on the board, and maybe that greases the wheels a bit. They finally get some go forward. They get some nice carries over the advantage line because Will Jordan on 23 minutes getting back into some try-scoring form. My dad used the words glide, and he does sometimes just kind of glide through the traffic, doesn't he? He's quick. I think he beats Papali'i. Kind of all ends up who's come on early for Keti in this one. And the build-up play is there. There's a bunch of guys who get good carries like Rieko and whatnot, getting the ball up over the advantage line. But with the All Blacks moving forward, they managed to get a 10-0 lead. But then the Aussies, that being said, they did have a wee chance to come back. They started to build and pressure their own. I do feel like they rushed it a little bit. Like Tom Wright at one point takes a quick tap when they've got advantage. I'm not convinced the All Blacks guys were definitely back 10. I've only seen it once. But they turn the ball over not long later. All Blacks are able to counter. Australia keep giving away penalties for offside. Penalty count for them is a little bit high in this game. All Blacks go for touch. They maul it. The maul gets brought down. And not only is it a penalty try on 27 minutes, but it's a yellow card for Dave Parecki. So, again, another of those ones was a kind of bad to worse. But, despite the yellow card, once again, the All Blacks, with the man advantage, looked pretty average. I mean, in a way, they kind of look bad. I mean, the Wallabies just looked genuinely pretty good. They should have had a try. The fact that they blew this try, I do feel like in the overall stakes of this game is an absolute momentum breaker, and you've got Matthew Raynal to thank for kind of initially spotting it. The decision maker from last week has an impact on this game as well. I like to think they would have spotted it either way, to be honest, but Raynal's the guy who initially spots it. Despite the yellow card, Marika goes over on the left wing. Some really good Aussie play. I mean, their hookers off. They're still opting for touch. Pete Samu, the number 7, is having to throw the line out. They're going short. 1-2 play back to Samu. He goes down the left wing. They're going forward. And eventually Marika goes over. But he's got a foot in touch right before he puts it down. Like, as a winger, you can't be doing that. He wasn't being tackled. He just puts his foot in touch. No, man. It's a soft let-off for the All Blacks. They did go back for the advantage anyway. The Aussies went for a tap and go. They managed to get advantage. But, held up eventually. And then when they had a chance to attack again, they got advantage, they got them all again. And to be fair, I did write a note that, like, maybe the All Blacks should get yellow carded here. there was at least, I don't know, 3 or 4, maybe 5 quick fire penalties down the All Blacks red zone. If nothing else, though, the ref did tell Aaron Smith to be quiet, which was beautiful because that guy, even as an All Blacks fan, pretty yappy. So the idea that the ref told him basically to shut his mouth or he's going to get carded, I don't mind that one bit. Some of you guys may think that's a bit harsh, but hey, what can I say? I enjoyed that moment. But yeah, I think the All Blacks were maybe a touch lucky not to get away. Well, to get away with not getting a man in the bin, basically, because it did seem like they had been warned. But I had the volume pretty quiet because I was doing a live stream with my folks. So we can't have the volume too loud. I didn't hear exactly what the ref said. But yeah, momentum-wise, it was all with the Australians. And they get nothing from it. Absolutely nothing. 37 minutes, the All Blacks do manage to counter again, but the Wallabies still manage to kind of hold out, win a penalty. They're kind of keeping it game on. Foley manages to get an intercept before half-time, which kind of saves them from maybe a potential another try. That'll be my dad sending me a message to say he has arrived home after leaving my house. But yeah, the Wallabies, I thought, needed to come away with something in that huge period of pressure, even just a 3. They had the man down. I know you're down on the scoreboard by 17 points, so you're probably not going to win the game at 3s, but common sense tells you you've got a yellow card. Maybe just go for a 3, kill a minute, and get 3 points on the board. Suddenly it's a 14-point lead. Maybe you get another one. It's an 11-point lead. You know what I mean? But either way, hindsight's always 20/20. Either way, the halftime score is 17-zip. All Blacks have had more possession, but not the territory. They've had 6 clean breaks to 2. But the Wallabies, man, and this theme will continue in the second half. 6 knock-ons to none in the first half. And the All Blacks are tackling in the 90s for their defensive shift. So really good stuff. Second half gets underway. All Blacks get into the groove. I thought this one was kind of lucky. Sam Whitelock from close range seems to have had the ball kind of partially, at least for a time, dislodged by Angus Bell. But somehow they find that one has got not enough evidence to overturn a try. I mean, I don't know. I've seen the replays that you guys saw. I'm sure someone will go and do like a frame-by-frame analysis of it, but that's not the kind of try that I would want to see, like, I don't know, decide a World Cup. Seemed like he lost it for mine. I know they have to go with the kind of clear thing, but I mean, I was sitting there with my folks. The New Zealand commentary team thought it was legit 100% a try. I don't know what the Aussie commentary team thought. Me and my folks were like, that looks pretty dodgy. You know, you go with the gut feeling a lot of the time. Gut feeling says that's probably not a try. Like if you're in club rugby, maybe it's a try if the ref doesn't see it, but if he sees the hand in there, maybe he calls it off. Don't know, but either way, man, 24-0, starting to look pretty hairy for the Wallabies, and that's the bonus point key in terms of the Rugby Championship. The All Blacks absolutely needed to get a bonus point to put themselves in the best position to win the competition. 46 minutes of the way I thought was weird. They opted for a 3 to make it 27-0. The game, you've already 24-0 up. The most dangerous thing at that point is surrendering the bonus point, not losing the game. So I would have thought get a 4th try just to give yourself an insurance policy, but they opt for 3. Interesting call, I guess, but they did it nonetheless. And then the next time they were down the Wallabies end, they went for the tries again. So it was kind of, I'm sure there was something up. It must have been some kind of plan. Maybe they needed a breather. But either way, they won a penalty at the scrum. They win again. And then after Codie Taylor, to be fair, had mucked up one line out. Second chance he gets, they get it right. And 32-0. 32-0, that's pretty much game over. That's the bonus point with the insurance policy. Australia not done though. Fainga'a does get one. When Frost comes off the bench, charges down to kick. Samu with the sweet hands, offload, 30-7, just to put that seeded doubt in for the bonus point. Remember the Rugby Championship having the bonus point rule. It's not just 4 tries. You need to get 3 tries more than your opponent. So the All Blacks are back to kind of living on the edge. But then like the Australians, like making me shake my head. 5-meter scrum on your own line and then just knocking it on under pressure. I think that was Tom Wright. Like just crazy stuff. Later on, Nick White tries a looping pass in his own 22 instead of just kicking it long. Like when they're under pressure, it's like, I know they're chasing the game and what are you going to do, but some fundamental skills just let them down. That knock-on under pressure immediately leads to the All Blacks winning a penalty and immediately leads to a Taukei'aho try. So error equals trial. If you're going to go to Eden Park and win a game against the All Blacks where nobody's beaten them for donkey's years, you need to be pretty clinical. And the Wallabies, unfortunately, were not. So 37-7, conversion goes off the post. Australia missing touch from when they won a penalty. I did think Savea got a little bit lucky for not getting a card for a upright tackle on Reece Hodge. Probably a yellow based on the 2 times they showed it. Seemed like a bit of the old face-to-face, which during the Super Rugby season was red, and now they seem to be toning those down a little bit. But 76 minutes, All Blacks penalty, 40 points to 7. Points differential, especially starting to look pretty hairy from a South African point of view. If they're going to go, and they've obviously got to beat Argentina, but their goal will be to beat them by a big old margin. And because Argentina now can't win the championship. But Australia gives South Africa a little bit of a door ajar when they get the try through Papali'i on 82 minutes. Credit to the Aussies for not giving up. Like, I mean, I've been a little bit hard on them because they didn't play very well at times. As I said, fundamental catch and pass stuff letting them down. But they genuinely kept fighting through the 82nd minute when they were beaten. So, you know, credit to that. That shows something positive about the team that they want to keep fighting. So 40 points to 14 is the way it finishes. That means All Blacks are on 19 points. So the South Africans need a bonus point win. And the All Blacks have got a 39-point advantage. So I think they would need to beat Argentina by 40 points. So like 40-0 or, 50-10 kind of thing. So, yeah, it's all to do, but the All Blacks have done their task. And for the Wallabies, it's another hard run at Eden Park, isn't it? I mean, stats-wise, run meters 610 to 372. All Blacks dominate that. They dominate the possession and territory. Turnovers conceded, 15 by the Wallabies, 6 by the All Blacks. All Blacks had more ball but coughed up less. Tells you a bit. Knock-ons, 10 by the Wallabies. Is that 3 by the All Blacks? Goodness me. Yeah, 3. So half the All Blacks turnovers conceded and knock-ons, but that's 3. 10 by the Wallabies. That's a lot for one game. All Blacks tackle at 92%. The Wallabies are 81. So just kind of fundamental stuff, man. Wallabies concede 16 penalties to 13. It's a pretty high penalty count. When you're getting towards 30 penalties for a game, that's a wee bit, as I said, on the high side. Individuals, though, Jordie, Barrett at 12. Looked all right. From my one watching of the game, man, beat 7 defenders, 82 metres, 9 from 9 tackles. Had a lot of blood on them, but yeah, good play. Papali'i makes 19 from 19 tackles, top tackler of the game. Wins a turnover. Will Jordan gets his try, 2 clean breaks, 119 metres, 4 defenders beaten. Continues to be very dangerous. Caden Neville, 13 from 13 tackles for him. Samu, 42 metres, 2 turnovers, 1, but misses a few too many tackles, unfortunately. So, yeah. I mean, for Australia, they did well during the yellow cards. I'll say that. They kept fighting. They dominated the second one, absolutely. But as I said, just lacking that clinical edge. And from a New Zealand point of view, certainly did everything to put themselves in a pretty good position to win the Rugby Championship. They are certainly big-time favourites, but who knows what's going to happen in the final game. What a great Rugby Championship where genuinely, mathematically, any of the 4 teams could have walked away with the trophy after the final whistle blows on the final game. But now it's between New Zealand and South Africa, so we'll see how things go. You guys let us know your thoughts. If you want New Zealand gear to celebrate, Level Rugby has some. Check the link in the description. Otherwise, I will talk to you guys again soon.